over, what, the 9-10 months you've been with us, Matt?
Yeah, about 9 months.
Okay. And John's been with us, what, 3 years now, John?
Yeah, I believe so. 2.5, 3 years, somewhere around there.
Yeah, John's had a lot of success with us in a different way. And then Mitch has been with us for about a year now, and Mitch is located in Wisconsin, and he's had a lot of success with us too in using FutureOffice as a selling tool. So we're going to let each one go through and talk about how they're doing, and then what we'll do is we'll kind of leave the questions till the end. We'll try and get the three of them done talking in about a half an hour, but I do know all of them, and they do like to talk, so we'll keep it close to a half an hour as best we can. And then at the end, we'll just have kind of an open question and answer, but I will call on the questions in order as to what they're on the question board. So, all right. Well, like I said, we have Matt, who's going to be leading off. Matt's located in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Matt, why don't you go ahead and just tell everybody your story of FutureOffice. All right, Matt, why don't you go ahead and just talk a little bit about your past and where you came from, and you know, how long you've been with us, and some of the successes you've had. Okay?
Yep. Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for your time. I really appreciate the opportunity to spend a little bit of time with you and talk about my experience and the use of FutureOffice Network. I am a FutureOffice Network user. Don't hold that against me. I have been for almost a year. I've been in the industry for 7 years now. Started with one of the big firms in the nation. I was with them for 6 years, and we came upon irreconcilable differences. So I decided it was time to go out on my own. While I was with the large organization, we used Z-Wave and MyWave, and that was a okay experience. But in going on my own, I wanted to be different and use something different, and was more concerned about service as I grew my benefits practice. So I partnered with the FutureOffice Network because of their availability and services that they provide, and quite frankly, I think the system is much more user-friendly than the competition's. So in opening my practice about 10 months ago, I've been successful in landing a broker of record on 10 new accounts. I would say within the next 45 days, I'll probably bring on another 4 or 5 accounts. And in using the FutureOffice Network, typically what I do is I make my approach in the selling process very needs-based. So I don't go in presenting or talking about the FutureOffice Network on the first call, but I will use the system to develop questions. And I usually start with productivity tools and ask the employers about their employee handbook, whether it's online or hard copy, how that's working for them, how they handle updates, how they work with updates, how they communicate that to the employees. Talk about how their brokers involved in that role, and let them answer. Then I'll roll more into the employee benefit rules, employee benefits law, human resource rules, pull some questions out of there. Look at legal updates, you know, how are they remaining compliant with their plan and their communication education with employees. What type of internet do they have? How is the broker helping them with that? And then really put together a presentation based on the answers. So I'll come back on the second call and go through FutureOffice Network and how I'm using that with my clients and how others are using it nationwide to help manage their employee benefits. Depending on the type of client, if they're pretty savvy, pretty advanced, you know, I will do a PowerPoint. If it's a manufacturing environment that they're really not into technology, I'll do hard copy presentations out of a binder. Both of them seem to work really well. For whatever reason, the blue-collar market seems to really appreciate being able to touch, feel, smell documents. And they all enjoy what the FutureOffice Network will bring to them. So I'm working with are typically 25 employees on up. I have a couple groups that are 25 employees. I have a couple that are 70 employees, and I have one that's 150 employees. And I'm getting close to bringing on some clients that are north of 200 employees. And the FutureOffice Network has been a good part of me, A, staying in the hunt, and then B, being able to bring them solutions that they're not getting from their their current broker.
Matt, talk a little bit about what you're experiencing with the technology. When we spoke last time, you were saying that some agencies have it, but they're not talking about it, or a lot of them don't even have it. So talk about how you're leading and what pieces within FutureOffice you're actually presenting and what you're talking about when you do go out in front of a client.
Well, as you mentioned, some have it. Some have ZyWave and MyWave, and they don't either aren't aware of having it or don't know how to use it or implement it or sell it as being tools that help the employers.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at it from the productivity tool standpoint with the employee handbook, the payroll stuffers, some webs they can use, surveys we can use, a number of opportunities to help them save time and communicate with their employees. And communication education is getting huge with employees, and they don't always have tools to do that. HR is the big user of this, and CFOs use it too, but HR, from what I'm seeing, is the big user of this.
Mm-hmm.
They just have too many things going on and don't need to be doing searches to find the information they need to manage the benefits. So the FutureOffice Network helps them significantly with that. And then being able to manage the information on the internet, the employee benefit plans, all the access information, all the telephone numbers that the employees would need to have access to those 24/7 on the internet. They're finding that very, very valuable. People get excited about SmartCast. They want to stay up on what's going on in the benefits world with healthcare reform, with Obama Don't Care. And they like to look at the SmartCast or join the SmartCast to be able to do that. Many times, though, I do find that they have all the great intentions of sitting in on the SmartCast, but they can't. So they enjoy the movie when they're in insomniac at 3 o'clock in the morning to be caught up on what it is they missed on that SmartCast when they had a fire burning. But again, it really goes back to needs-based. How the prospect answers the questions that I ask, and then I plug the FutureOffice Network into the solution, and that has been helped me be successful in getting broker of record in a number of cases.
Matt, when you're out presenting FutureOffice and you're talking to a client, are you calling it FutureOffice or are you calling it the employer portal?
FutureOffice.
Okay. Just had a question pop up. Somebody was wondering if you're branding it FutureOffice or not. So, Matt, talk a little bit about these specific cases that you won the AORs. Talk a little bit about some of the specific stuff that you've used FutureOffice for when you were with those, when you were going after those, or even the one that you're going after right now.
Well, again, it goes back to specific needs. So I don't know I'll get into the details of specific needs, but there's a number of tools that help. I will say that in a number of cases, one in particular, there was a and it was managed by one of the big firms, one of the big three in the nation. For whatever reason, it's only 100 employees, so not necessarily on the radar. Come to find out, through a series of questions, they're not COBRA compliant. So there's a huge liability there. So we presented what we could do with them with FutureOffice Network and COBRA, and it was a second call. Went from needs to presentation. It was a second call, and it was a case record on the spot. So nice sized group. Most of them are 2 or 3 call closes, depending on the needs. And then, the FutureOffice Network is really presenting according to the needs, the specific needs of the client. So I can't use a broad brush stroke there. It's
okay.
It's different for everyone.
Can you talk a little bit about some of the support that you've gotten? I know some of the things that you've come to us for, and I know that that's one of the things that you use with us is we have become that back room for you. So why don't you talk a little bit about some of the things that you've worked with Milan, myself. I know you've done some question and answers with Craig. So talk a little bit about some of the support things that you come to us for, just because we want other people to understand, other agencies to understand, that you can come to us for more than just the FutureOffice site also. So.
And a lot of that, most of that has really been on the spreadsheeting. There's been some questions on the spreadsheets that didn't make sense, or columns didn't add up for whatever reason, or we wanted to expand the spreadsheets, give a little more information, take a different look at it, and FutureOffice has been very accommodating with that to provide me what I feel I need to present to my clients in a very timely manner. I'd say turnaround time is usually a day or two when we need to create something new, so that's been very, very helpful. And then clients, with human resource managers that have questions, they've been able to contact FutureOffice Network for answers to their questions on an as-needed basis. So that's been very, very helpful.
Matt, do you want to kind of wrap anything up? I know you've had a lot of success with FutureOffice. We work well together. Is there anything else you wanted to kind of say before we switched over to Mitch?
No, I think we're good. I appreciate your help. Keep up the good work, and let's go ahead and roll it around over to Mitch.
All right. Thanks, Matt.